We are at time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. This is another episode of Let's Develop. I'm going to be your host, Chris Woolley, and today we've got Rachael Boer, and she's going to be guiding us through 9 free ways to market your photography business. And it's going to be a lot of fun today. We're going to get a lot of creative ideas as we go through. So if this is your first time tuning in, let me give you a quick rundown of what Let's Develop is. So this is a program sponsored by American Color Imaging. And basically what we do is we find some of the best photographers and we bring them in and they just share information with us. So it's all about elevating our industry, sharing information, and just getting better at your craft. And I just think it's super, super cool. We got so many cool photographer friends out there, and it's an amazing way to just share information and kind of have fun. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And there we go. Get in that one. Hey, that's what we're looking at right here. So that we've got our program that's coming up, and we do have new episodes that come out every 2 weeks. It's a webinar series, so you do need to register. But if you go to acilab.com/let's-develop, then you can register and see some of the upcoming programs. And again, that's a big thank you to ACI for sponsoring this program. We do have the replays that come out 1 week after we do this. And you can find that again on acilab.com/let's-develop. So last episode, we had Don McGregor, our friendly Canadian from the North, on posing for family portraiture. So you can go ahead and catch that episode. This is a live webinar format, so if you haven't figured it out yet, there is chat on the right half of this, and Rachael is super interactive. So if you do have questions, comments, or really, really good jokes, put them in the chat on the side, and we'll get through them. We'll answer them. There is also, if you see up on the top screen, a little like chat icon with a question mark in it. If you click that, that's a dedicated question button. So if you click that one, then it makes it a question, so we actually see it, and you can actually vote on those questions too. So if you have that same question, give it a little upvote on it, and that'll let us know that, hey, a lot of people have the same question and want to know more about it. Okay, so now that we've gone through that, it's time to actually introduce our main speaker, Rachael. And holy cow, she is an amazing person, always so willing to share information. I first met Rachael several years ago at, I think it was a wall portrait conference, where we had met here in Washington. And that was just basically learning about doing sales and marketing. And Rachael just has so much great information to share, but it's a bit deceptive because she is super, super nice and very friendly. But then she just blows your mind with actually what she's got to say. And it's like, what? I need to know more of this person. And so that's how Rachael and I first connected. And she's coming here to share information with us. She's got a portrait studio. She's in Memphis, Tennessee now. Is that correct?
That's right.
So Memphis. Yep. So she's been doing that for about 12 years. She's got a team support staff that's helping her there. You may also know her from IPS Mastermind. She's got this whole other side of the business where she's coaching, sharing information, and helping other photographers kind of own their photography business. She's a certified professional photographer, so the CPP, and a photographic craftsman from PPA. Basically, she's super, super awesome, and she's sharing information with us today. So I'm going to switch the screen around. There we go. Hey.
Hi.
It's officially time now. Got all that preamble stuff out of the way. So let's start talking and sharing.
Thank you.
What do you got for us, Rachael?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. I'm so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this for a long time now. And I love this series. I love what you're doing, just bringing good, practical information to photographers. And I'm really excited for this topic tonight. We're talking about marketing. And, you know, it's funny because every time I speak to a group of photographers in any context whatsoever, and I ask them, what's the number one thing you struggle with? Or what's the number one thing you want to work on or improve this year? The answer is hands down, always overwhelmingly marketing, right? It's the topic that everybody wants to learn, everybody needs help with, and everybody just wants to grow in this area, but it can feel a little bit overwhelming. It can feel like I don't know where to start. I mean, what am I doing? Is it SEO? Am I doing Google Ads? Am I doing networking? What am I doing? I need a plan, right?
So many options.
So many options. And a challenge for a lot of photographers is that for many marketing efforts, you need a pretty significant budget. You need to put a lot of money behind some of these things. And some photographers simply aren't ready to just be able to shell out the cash right at this moment. So the question is always asked, what can I do to market my business for free, or at least inexpensively? And so that's what I'm hoping to cover today. We're going to go over 9 of my favorite strategies for marketing. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Very good. So I'm just keeping track of the chat here and wanted to say hi to Joyce and Bill and everybody else who's popped in. I'm hoping that this talk will be really interactive. So I don't just want to like preach at you. That's no fun for you or me. I want this to be a conversation. So please jump in the chat, share your questions, share your thoughts. If something rings a bell and you're like, oh, that's a good idea, I'm going to try that, write it down. Let us know. Let's just keep each other kind of like accountable and on track here as we go through. And I'd love to hear your tips as well if you know things that have worked really well for you. So am I allowed to ask questions, Chris, and just get people?
Totally can,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the chat, if you guys would tell me, how many of you have ever relocated your business? You've had a business, you've moved, and you've had to start over. Anyone done that? Raise your hand in the chat.
We're getting quite a few people saying yes.
Yeah, a couple of yeses. No, not yet. Oh, Michelle just moved. Okay. So several of you at least have done it. And some of you are saying not yet. And what that implies to me is that at some point you may have to do that, right? That can be a really scary thing when we have to relocate our business, because we have to start over from absolute scratch, knowing no one in our new area potentially. And we have to figure out how to get this business off the ground again, really starting from ground zero. And this is something that I personally had to do about 3 years ago. I relocated a very active, thriving business from Washington, D.C. down to Memphis, where I literally did not know a single person. And so that process of relocating really caused me to hone in on my marketing in a new way. Before that, I had run my business in DC for almost 10 years. And you get to the point where you don't have to market as much anymore. Once you've got a really steady, stream of clients.
Get those referrals coming back in.
Yeah, those referrals, it kind of snowballs. But when you go to a new place and you open up your shop and you're like, okay, where am I going to find these clients? It really makes you think about marketing in a different way, right? And you really have to be active about it. So if you've ever had to do that, the stress of that. And I think it causes you to be really on your game. So the 9 strategies that I'm sharing today are all things that I have personally done for my own business. So I don't want to teach something that I've never had experience with. That doesn't feel authentic to me. So these are all strategies that I have used. And I'm hoping I can use my experience, the good and the bad, to help you guys. All right. So when we talk about marketing, let me dive in. There's 4 basic questions that I think we have to answer before we can talk about those 9 strategies. So the 4 basic questions are, who am I marketing to, right? And this is one I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. You all probably have heard about, you have to build a client avatar. You have to know who your client is, right? Where do they shop? Where do they eat? Where do they put their kids in school? What kind of car do they drive? We've all done these exercises. Yes. Has anybody done that, client avatar exercise? Just say yes in the comments. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. They're like, yes, done it.
You're like, we got it. We got it.
Yeah. And a lot of people do feel stuck after that point. They tell me okay, I did my avatar. I have this imaginary client written down, but what do I do with this information? Right. And we kind of get stuck there. So I won't belabor that point, but we do have to know who we're talking to. If you're a photographer who does weddings and works with, older brides and grooms who are doing elopements, you're going to have a very different marketing style than if you're a photographer who does newborns or who does, cake smashes or something else. You really are going to be talking to completely different groups of people. So know your niche, know who you're marketing to. That's self-explanatory. The second piece of that is, where can you find these people, both online and offline? So you have to know, who am I trying to reach and where are they, right? If I'm looking for new moms, I'm not going to go to, I'm trying to think of an example.
Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not going to go to Men's Warehouse. I'm going to probably go to the Kinder Music or the Little Gym or those types of places, because I know that's where my target client hangs out. So we do kind of have to be aware where our clients are online and offline. Now, when I say online, I think it's obvious that I'm, thinking of the fact that social media kind of targets different groups of people as well. Isn't the average Facebook user getting older, Chris? Isn't that what I'm hearing? It's more like
Yep.
middle-aged folks like us that are on
You're not going to
Facebook.
find many young kids on there anymore.
No. And so if you want to do senior photography, that might not be the place for you to market. Whereas TikTok or Instagram is probably a great fit. So also figuring out kind of which platforms suit what you're doing and who you're targeting. And then this is where it gets really, really key. That part is kind of the easy half of the equation. The second half is once you find these people, once you find that ideal client, what are you trying to say to them? And that is so important to really nail down that messaging. Let me put it this way for you. If I could assemble for you today, right now, Kimberly, Lisa, Cassie, Michelle, if I could find you a room full of your target clients in your area, and I got them all together in a room, and I put you up on stage, and I said, here you go, I found these great potential clients for you. Go ahead, you have 5 minutes. What would you say to them? What are you going to try to communicate when you do get in front of them? Because so many of us invest a ton of energy in just trying to find these people. But once we have their attention, what is it? What's that messaging that we're trying to communicate? And that's so, so important to nail down your messaging. Because if your messaging is, I'm a photographer, book a session today.
Hire me, please.
Right, hire me, please. I need to pay my bills. That's not going to be enough to convert those prospects into actual clients. You're not going to capture their excitement and their attention with a really generic marketing message like now booking fall sessions, right? And so we have to figure out what's the message? What are we trying to communicate? Oh, Kimberly has a good example or answer. She said, what I do and why, like what motivates me to do what I do and what I can provide to them. Yes, that is a fantastic start, Kimberly. I like that you brought in what I do and then how it's going to impact them. I think that's really great. By the way, yeah, these are not all rhetorical questions. You're welcome to answer them.
Yeah.
I would love that. So what are you trying to communicate? And the other piece of that puzzle is communicating in their language and on their level using pain points that they have in real life. You know, let me ask you this question. This is not rhetorical. You can answer. Why do people hire a photographer? Why would a person hire you? Chris, I'd love to hear your answer too.
Yeah. So for me, like I do a lot of like business portraits. And so they've got a need that's going to be there, whether it's like, hey, I'm doing more Zoom calls and I need to put a face up there or as part of their marketing strategy. So that's pretty common.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got answers rolling in. I love this. Kimberly said to capture special moments in their life. Absolutely. You know, people have these landmark moments in their life, like their first communion and their graduation and their wedding. These are important moments in their life that they do not want to forget. They want those captured. Bruce says, I want to show people how I can add value to their lives or business. Yes. Tell me more, Bruce. What is that value? What do you add exactly? Crystal says, capture special milestones in their life. Absolutely. Samantha, to help them solve a problem. Oh, I love that. Samantha, what's the problem? What is the problem that they have that you solve?
You're looking for specifics, huh?
Yeah, let's dive in deep.
Yep.
We've got an hour here. We can go pretty deep. Ashley says to document their family growing up. Yeah, sometimes it just is that simple. People just want that record, that visual reminder of the process of raising their family or going through the years that they're walking through with their family. Samantha, I asked you, what's the problem? And she said they are missing portraits of their family. Yes, I think so. I think we can go even deeper. What is a negative thing that will happen if they don't hire you? Let's think of it that way for a minute. Let's think of the reverse. If they don't hire a photographer, what negative outcome is there? We've got a few answers here. Bonnie said to preserve their family history for future generations. That's good. That's good, Bonnie. Absolutely. And Cassie says, as a mom, I'm able to really reflect on how fast my children have grown, and it really helps me share the love I have on my own newborn portraits. I also talk a lot about existing in photos, right? Personally, something I've struggled with, so it can be personable and relatable. That's so, so excellent. You're finding a way to bring in your experience, and you've created a marketing messaging that really is authentic to you because you've lived that in your own family. That's very good. Bruce, I asked you about value, and you said value of money or sentiment. Good. Cassie says it's time you can't get back. Absolutely. People can't go back. They can't go back to when their child was younger or when their family was a certain way. They can't go back to that special vacation or that milestone. And we are the only ones that can kind of help them do that, right? Oh, I love this. There's so many answers. We're going to.
Right. Everybody's so excited.
You guys are great. They'll miss out on capturing the moments that are important to them, sharing their love and joy together. Good. Okay. Help me out here on this one.
Photographer. Okay, Kimberly, what do we live? Many
I'm so
photographs
sorry,
people
Kimberly.
have these days are missing.
Okay.
One member. Oh, many photographs of people these days we're missing.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. I needed a translator there for a minute.
Many photographs of people these days have missing one family member because they're the one with the phone or camera. She ensures that they get them all together.
Yes. And if we're stereotypical for a minute here, it's often mom, right, who's not in the pictures because she's behind the camera. I know that was my experience growing up, my husband's experience growing up. When we look back through the family photo albums, our moms aren't there because they were the ones kind of coordinating the photos. So being able to give a family that whole family memory and document everyone was there, that's another great value that we bring. So I love this, you guys. This brainstorm that you all did here, screenshot this, keep this, because this is the type of messaging that's going to help convert those prospects once you get their attention. Okay, whether you're advertising in a publication or online, or you're networking, or you're having coffee with, at the Chamber of Commerce, or who knows what you're doing. This is the kind of language that you want to use when you talk about what you do. You don't want to say, I'm a natural light photographer who takes pictures of babies. That doesn't communicate anything about the real, genuine value of what we bring to the table. And this, what you just said here, this is language and messaging that's really going to strike people where it matters. It's going to make them feel something, right? It's going to make them feel like, oh my gosh, I do want to preserve these memories. I can't go back in time, and I do want to make sure that I'm in the image, and I do want to have this value in my life. So when we talk about messaging, you guys got it exactly right on. It's pinpointing those pain points and how we can solve them. And then my fourth question, we're going to get to the 9 strategies in a minute. But
right. These are good points you're making up.
Yeah, they're important, So number 1 was, who are you marketing to? Number 2 was, where can you find them on and offline? Number 3 was, once you get their attention, what are you trying to say to them, right? And so number 4, I forgot it. Let me look at my notes. Is what do you have to offer them that they can't get somewhere else? This can be the hardest one. Right? This is what we call our USP, unique selling proposition. What is it that we can offer them that they can't find anywhere else? Does anybody have an answer to that they have worked on this and they've nailed that down in their mind? This is what I bring to the table that's really unique. And this is why people should hire me instead of Jenny or Sam down the street. Does anyone have you thought about this, Chris? Do you have a go-to answer?
Yep. So when it comes to, I work with a lot of actors and models, and one of the things that I do that's a lot different than others in my area is that I really dive into what the intention is behind what those headshots or branding images that we're doing, so that they send the right message, so that they can actually get booked. They can speak in a language that casting directors are going to be working with. So it's a way of connecting with them within their industry. I do my research, I do my homework, and I make sure that we send the right message in their images.
That is excellent. I love that. And that's a value that you bring that maybe the guy down the street doesn't have. And it's something you can market that's unique to you. I think that's really great. We've got some answers here. Mark says, the experience I offer. Yeah, excellent. Can you elaborate on that at all? What is that experience and how is it different than maybe what I might offer or someone else? Crystal says full service. Yeah, I've heard that phrase tossed around in the industry. Not just the digital.
Don't just abandon you.
Yes, I'm going to help you with those products that are quality products, right? And if you know me from anything else I've ever done, you know that that's kind of my soapbox. I'm all about not leaving clients with just a half-finished product, which is what I kind of believe a digital image is. It has the makings of a great product. It's kind of like the ingredients for your dinner, but it's not the finished dish, right? And once we can print those photos and provide beautiful, tangible products, that's when I feel like I've kind of fulfilled my commitment to that client, because those images are then something they can see and enjoy without electricity.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Samantha says, creating a world-class experience that's tailored to them, for them. I like that, Samantha. Very good. And then Joyce brings in how my past working in the schools with families transfers to connecting to family shoots. I love that. So you brought in your experience in your job in the past and how that makes you better suited to providing a great experience. I love that. This might be something, your unique selling proposition might be something that's unique to you because of something like Joyce, your past. Maybe you were a nanny in the past, or maybe you have 5 kids like me. And so you can bring that experience, if you photograph families, for example, you can bring that experience and say, I know how to deal with cranky toddlers. I have a house full of them myself. I know how to make sure everybody's comfortable. I know how to get a teenager to give an authentic smile because I've worked with, teens or something like that. So bringing in something that's unique to you can be a great addition to your unique selling proposition, right? Okay, good. As we go, I want to just mention this. Chris said this at the beginning, but I assume people are kind of popping in. So there is a dedicated question tab. You want to tell them where it is again, Chris?
Yeah, so if you're on a desktop, up at the very, very top, right next to the chat icon, it looks like a chat bubble, but it has a question mark on it. And if on your phone or on the tablet, it should be on the right-hand side. You can kind of see a tab or a page button there too.
Yes, excellent.
And I'll be monitoring as well. I can convert them to questions.
Yes, great. And you can either interrupt me anytime, Chris, with those questions, or we can take them at the end, whatever you want to do.
All right.
Good. We've got a couple more things in here as far as unique selling proposition. One thing I wanted to add is if you are a certified professional photographer with the PPA, if you do have some kind of certification or degree, that's another huge thing that sets you apart, because a lot of photographers haven't taken the time to get those degrees or certifications, and that can really help set you apart in a crowded marketplace as well. So if that's not something you've pursued, I definitely recommend it. All right. I'm ready to dive into my 9 techniques. Are we good to go?
Oh yeah, I think everybody's just chomping at the bit for that one.
That was my preamble. All right.
Yeah, right.
We're going to talk about 9
super important points though.
Yeah. I think it's really key. But we're going to talk about my 9 strategies, and I'm going to go through these pretty quick. I'll tell a few stories as I go. And Chris, if you have stories yourself of things that you've tried or done, or suggestions, feel free to jump in anytime, and same with all of you. Okay, my first recommendation, this is a way that you can just start to really establish yourself in a community if you're new to an area, or you can really start to just build a great network of relationships and word of mouth if you are just working to build up your marketing, kind of get that machine running. And that is to host a photography class, to teach a photography class. Now, this is a pretty self-explanatory one, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but it's something that a lot of photographers have never done. And whenever I find out that they haven't tried it before, I'm like, oh, you're missing out. This is such a great way to get in front of your target audience with a very minimal investment up front for them. They're paying for a Saturday morning class, let's say. And this could be on any topic that you want to teach, a photography related. So if you're a family photographer, you could teach on how to take better photos with your iPhone. Okay, I've taught that class. If you photograph macros of insects, hey, I'm gonna tie it in here, Norman. I got you. You could teach a macro photography class at your local nature center or something. I mean, there's so many ways that you can take whatever you're passionate about, you're excited about photographing, and turn it into a class. The reason you want to do this is because once people have that personal connection with you, they've sat in a class with you in somebody's living room around brunch foods, and they've had their cameras out, and they've listened to you teach, and they've worked with you one-on-one in that kind of hands-on way. And they've seen a lot of your work throughout that talk, throughout that presentation. You're showing them example images. Maybe you're handing an album around the room so everybody's holding it and seeing it. And maybe at the end of the class, you hand out a voucher for 50% off their next session, something like that. You are going to get a massive return on that because you have taken the time to personally interact with and get to know these people. That barrier of trust, likability, all those things is immediately broken down after that experience. And they feel like, man, I really like that guy or that girl, and I really want to work with them. And hey, I've got this voucher. Yeah, let's do it. So I used to run these classes. I did them for like parents in my area, and I taught like how to take better photos of your kids, right? And I would work with them on a DSLR. If they had that, they would bring it. And by the end, they'd be shooting in manual mode, and we'd be talking about composition and backlighting and, all this kind of stuff, rule of thirds. But if they didn't have a DSLR, they could bring a point and shoot. They could bring an iPhone, and there's still things that you can impart that can help them. But the key really is creating that relationship. And I would have 10 to 12 parents in the class, and I would host it at the home of one of my clients. So this is somebody who, right? Who
I like that idea.
Yeah, who already knows me and likes me. Now, could I have done it in my studio? Yes, but I actually chose to do it in the homes of my clients, because then my clients would invite all their friends to come, right? So that helped me to kind of fill the class. And then there was such a level of like, kind of that, what do you call it? Friendship marketing, friendship referral, networking.
Relationship type stuff.
Yeah, relationship marketing. Because Lisa, whose home I'm in, would say the kindest things like, oh, Rachel's been photographing our family for 3 years. You guys have to hire her. She's amazing. You know, and it just builds this really positive vibe. So the class doesn't have to be complicated. You can be teaching, you know, the rule of thirds and how to use open shade. I mean, it can really be basic. I used to bring the children from that family over, and we would practice photographing them in front of a window. Just something very simple. You know, people aren't necessarily ready for high level stuff. But
was your artwork up on your family's walls too?
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, hey, look at that. That's what I do.
By the way, I printed that for them. That's right. And I would bring an easel and put a canvas on it, and I would have a couple albums, and I would have gift vouchers for about 50% off the session fee. So I would end up booking about 7 out of 10 of those families for a session.
Oh, wow.
As a great way to just fill your calendar with pre-qualified clients who really, really are dying to work with you after that class, right? And I talked about how these are free marketing ideas. This one actually pays you. How's that for a good marketing idea?
You're like, what? How does that work? That's the type of marketing I like, right?
That's right. And it wasn't a lot. I remember, I think I used to charge about $65 for a seat for the 3-hour class. So, you know, it wasn't tons of money, but it was enough to make back my time for setting up and coming and presenting. And then I would get about 7 out of 10 clients returning. So that can be a really great way to kind of ease into building relationships in your community if you feel like you don't have that word of mouth built up yet. Yeah. Has anyone done a photography class like this, or taught maybe at a different venue, like I know you can go into like a Moms with Preschoolers group or something. Yeah, Kimberly, I'd love to hear more if you want to tell us about that. Anyone else done this before?
I love that it also establishes you as an authority too. So it's like, oh, the expert's here. So now you've got that added elevation just because you're the one that's teaching a class. So you're the person that knows how to do this stuff. So when they can't get it, they go to the professional.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Good. So Crystal said she did one for the 4-H, but the kids were not on task. Does that mean they weren't paying attention? Did it for the parents that came, really. Yes. Yeah, Deborah said she has done one at the BNI, the Business Networking Group. Brittany said she attended one almost 7 years ago. Love that. Oh, very cool. And then Ashley has taught Aurora photography in my rural area. Okay, good. So this can be a really good way, like I said, if you set it up well, it can be something that pays you and provides you with some great new relationships and some clients. So that is my tip number 1. All right. We're going to have to keep doing this because
we're already like halfway through.
I know. Oh my goodness. Okay. My second tip is going to be network with other photographers who are outside of your genre. And I recommend that you do this really intentionally. What I mean by that is if you photograph families, but you don't photograph seniors, take some time to get to know the senior photographers in your area. Take some time to get to know the equine photographers and the baby photographers and the pet photographers. And the reason for this is a lot of people think about networking with others who have the same specialty, you know, because you want to get to know people in your area, in your specialty. But if you can network with photographers who actually have a different specialty, this can be an amazing source of referrals for the both of you, because when you get someone asking, can you photograph my pet? You can say, well, I actually don't photograph pets, but my friend Jenny is an amazing pet photographer. Let me send you her way. And when Jenny gets a question about, can you do my extended family session on the beach? She can say, no, I actually just do pets in studio, but I know Rachel who does families on the beach. And so you can build these really great webs of referrals because we all get inquiries for things we don't photograph. Is that true, Chris? Do you ever get inquiries?
Absolutely. And I've got a list of people that I refer for all the genres, and they do the same back.
Yes, yes. And so be intentional, especially if you're new in an area, be intentional about saying like, hi, I found you on Google. I just moved to the area and I'm actually a photographer who photographs this other thing. I would just love to get to know you and get to hear more about your story and everything, see what you do. Would you be open for coffee? Would you want to swing by, or could we meet at Starbucks and just build those connections right away? And if you're not new in the area, this still goes for you. You can always reach out and say, do you want to get together? I'd love to treat you to lunch. I just want to get to know other photographers in the area. I actually got my start when I switched to in-person sales. This was a couple years into my business. I had been very unprofitable, very cheap, just doing shoot and burn, digital only, very low priced for a couple of years, and it wasn't working, obviously. And the weekend that I decided to switch to in-person sales, and I decided to triple my pricing, and it was this big scary moment, right? It's a leap. I changed everything. I started offering, products and everything. That weekend, a friend of mine who's a photographer decided that she was going to start her maternity leave. And she called me that same weekend and said, I'm going to go on maternity leave. I have a ton of inquiries still coming in. Can I send them to you? And it was this amazing way to springboard my transition because I suddenly got all these referrals for clients that she was, no longer able to take. And, if we can do a favor for other photographers and then receive that favor when it's going the other way, it can be a really great way to just kind of strengthen those bonds in the industry, help each other out, build up the photography community, and also to make sure clients are always taken care of, even if you don't photograph something that they're looking for. That makes sense? Yeah. Cassie says, I don't specialize in weddings, so I refer to a few others and have a few that refer me for newborns. That's great. Weddings and newborn photographers are really natural
right.
fit.
One comes first and then the other. Usually.
I mean, often. Yes, Samantha says, I do this and it's a great benefit for everyone. Kimberly says, I do this and also know those who do the same genre as me. Very helpful for when I'm already booked for a date and assisting. Absolutely. Assisting each other. So it can never hurt to be friends with other photographers in the area. And, remember, it's all about community and building each other up. And yes, there's an element of competition, but we do want to see each other as
colleagues.
Yes, colleagues,
yeah, right?
Not enemies, right? Okay, good. Let's talk about my third strategy for free or inexpensive marketing. And that is to create a lead magnet to grow your email list. If you know anything about marketing, this is not news. You're like, Rachel, everybody has heard about this before. Everybody knows what a lead magnet is, hopefully. And if not, I'll explain it. But it's amazing the number of photographers that aren't utilizing this strategy, and it's so easy to do, and it doesn't cost you anything. So a lead magnet, if you don't know, is simply an offering of some kind, something that has value. It's usually a PDF, could be a video, could be anything that you offer to your prospects in exchange for their email address. People won't usually just hand over their email address. I've seen a lot of photographers on their website, they'll have sign up for my newsletter to receive updates. And then when I ask them how that's performing, they're like, I've never gotten anyone. And that's because, sign up for my newsletter isn't always enough of a draw to get that email address out of people. People can be a little protective of their email inboxes. Am I right?
Nobody likes to spam.
Nobody likes to spam.
But if they want something for it, then that's where it works.
We've all signed up for things that we wanted to have a great offer from somebody that we admire, or you really want that 10 tips for, what to do with your children when it's too cold to go outside, or whatever that PDF is, or that video, or whatever it is. We've all signed up for those things. And this can be a really great, inexpensive or free way to constantly be building your email list behind the scenes. And if you're not currently using an email list to market your business, that is my bonus tip 3A. Please consider building an email list and utilizing it regularly, because you will be amazed at the value that a good email list has for your business. Chris, I assume that you do some email marketing time to time?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I rely quite heavily on it. It's a way to get messages out, let them know about any upcomings, availabilities, new things that you're trying out. And I like to have tags that are associated with them as well, so I know what type of client they are and where they came from. So if I've got, hey, here's this special offer, I can see how well that's performing and know that this client's interested in that sort of stuff.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And Cassie, no worries. She said, I'm the one that doesn't know much about lead magnets. That's okay. She said, I'm not too sure how to set up a well-organized email service. And maybe, Chris, this is a topic you could do on another webinar someday, because I don't have time to get into it really deeply. But you can use a service like MailChimp or ConvertKit, one of these services that's relatively inexpensive or even free up to a certain number of subscribers. And they can, those services can help you to, create that form that people are going to fill out on your email or on your website. And then their email address with the tag, whatever tag you've decided to assign for that one, is going to go into your email provider. And later, you're going to be able to sort by those tags. So if that makes sense, let's say you photograph weddings and families, you might have 2 different lead magnets on your website. You've created something called 10 tips to make wedding planning easier and a what to wear guide for family portraits. Okay, you've got those 2 different lead magnets, and you've tagged each of those with family client or wedding client. And that way, later on, you're going to be able to see who signed up under which lead magnet. So that's a real basic overview of how it works, but incredibly helpful, incredibly powerful. A friend of mine used to say that when she sent out an email to her list, it was like printing money because it was so effective. And, your email list is where you can send out, hey, I'm doing this day of mini sessions. Hey, I'm doing this charity event. Hey, I'm doing, something special, a promotion. And you can often book that out just from your email list alone. And you don't have to go necessarily into social media and try to kind of like find people at random. You can target those people who have signed up for your things before, who have worked with you before, who already like you and know you and trust you. They're a warmer audience, right? So
it's a VIP list.
Yeah, like a VIP list. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So create a lead magnet, have that working for you in the background at all times. That's going to grow your email list, and then you can market to them through that. So I wish we had time to go into the details of how to do all of the pieces of that puzzle, but
hit us with more, Rachel. Hit us with more.
Okay, we're going to keep going. All right. Donate to silent auctions. So if you haven't done a silent auction before, this can be a really great way to build your business, because what you're doing is you're donating a session and usually some type of product to this auction. It's usually a charity event of some kind or a fundraiser of some kind. And if you choose the right auctions, you're going to be able to find people in there who are really pre-qualified to be excellent clients for you. They value the charity. They appreciate, what that organization or that charity stands for. So they kind of come primed and ready to buy. They're excited. And then you can show some beautiful work. You can donate that session so that the charity or the organization gets some great fundraising money out of it. And then those people can become wonderful clients that you can photograph and upsell to. And so a lot of times if they come in, I do auctions regularly. I do about 5 to 6 a year at least. That's kind of my minimum, my bare minimum. Sometimes it's more. And those clients often end up being really excellent clients for me because they'll take what is included in the donation, but then they'll often purchase some wall art or, a canvas or an album or something like that in addition, or maybe many of those things. So silent auctions can be a wonderful option for that. You just want to find ones that, really are going to target. It comes back to like, who are you trying to market to? Finding the auctions that are going to fit that ideal client kind of paradigm that you've set up, that avatar that you've created that we talked about at the beginning. Has anyone
what sort of stuff do you offer at the silent auctions? That's a question from Crystal. Great question, Crystal. I almost always donate the session fee itself and then one small piece of wall art. So I'm looking at like a small, something that's really technically a little too small, maybe an 11 by 14 framed print. Now, the reason for that is I know once they get into my studio and they see the 30 by 40 and the 40 by 60, they're going to upgrade that print almost every single time. But if they didn't and they decided to just walk away with their donation amount, they're still going to get a nice piece, a small, nice piece of art for their money. No one has ever not purchased more than what the donation amount was for. Some people do, an 8 by 10 print. You can certainly choose what you want to include, but I recommend not including a digital image of any kind, because once they have a digital, ding, they're going to be sometimes happy enough with that and they're going to walk away. So it's got to be a printed offering, and usually just something with one image. I don't want to
to be an album or something like that, where they're getting 30 images in there. That makes
That's
sense.
a lot of work.
Yeah, that's too much work. Yeah. Yes. And Samantha says a gift certificate that includes a session and a certain amount towards their products. That's what I do. Yeah, that's another option. You can do like a credit of, $100 or $300, whatever your price point is. That makes sense. All right, great. So we got silent auctions. That's number 5. Here's number 6.
Silent auctions was 4, wasn't it?
Oh, was it 4? Oh, no.
I think so.
We had host a photography class, network with other photographers outside your genre, create a lead magnet. Oh, yes, I went out of order. Donate to silent auctions. Number 4. Okay, we're flying here. Number 5.
Right.
Number
I don't want to miss out. I'm taking notes.
Oh, you're doing great. Okay, I talk fast, so hopefully you can listen fast. Number 5 for me is going to be, if you're going to do a promotion of some kind, you maybe you're in the middle of a slow season. You're like, man, I got to do something. I need some money coming in. I need to do a promotion. Try a value added promotion instead of a discount. So a lot of people, when they want to do a promotion, they go, I'm going to discount. I'll do 30% off. I'll do 50% off. I'm going to drop my prices. And the thing is that, when you drop your prices, you are the one that suffers. You are the one that misses out on the income, because your lab is not going to charge less just because you gave your client a discount, right? Your equipment still costs just as much, and the gas to get the session just costs just as much. The only person that takes a hit when you discount is you. And you don't need to do a discount. People will actually be more incentivized by a value add than they will a discount, in my experience. So something like book a session anytime in February, and you'll receive a complimentary acrylic desk portrait, right? Something special, something small and unique and special that they
exclusive
that they can't get anywhere else, and they can't get any other time. I like it for it to be not something that's on your price list. Chris, what are your recommendations for like specialty products like that? Have you ever thought about what would fit?
Small. I like to do something small, like an accordion album or something that's like, okay, we can take some of their top images and it's a little something that they can brag with. I love that because it fits in a purse really well, so that people are physically tempted to show it instead of looking at pictures on their cell phone.
Yes.
I've also done other kind of novelty things too. So I do a lot of like vintage portraits. So like playing cards are awesome. I've done Zippo lighters as little thank you gifts. A Viewmaster. That one requires multiple images that are on there, but it's actually really, really cool.
Yes.
I know they still make them, but
I love that. Anything unique and fun like that, photo jewelry or like an ornament. I mean, anything like that. It might be a little kitschy, but it's fun, and it's something that motivates them to like actually take that next step. There are so many people that have heard about you, they've seen your images, they love your work, but they're kind of like this lingering on the fence, like, oh, we should do photos someday. Have you ever seen that?
That
or like,
little push.
Yeah, they just need something little to get them off the fence to go ahead and hit book now, right? So if you guys have suggestions for products, I'm sure ACI has a million beautiful options. There's so many things that can work well for this type of promotion. Put your ideas in the comments. I want to know what you guys would offer if you were going to do a little value add. All right. So that's number something. And then,
that was number 5.
All right. For number 6, we kind of touched on this with email marketing, but it's a little different. My number 6 is reach out to your previous clients individually. Reach out to them and ask if they would like to book another session. Okay, this seems a little obvious, right? But it's amazing how many of us don't actually follow up with previous clients and specifically ask for that next booking. There are so many clients who are just busy. They want to do photos. They know it's time to update their images, but they're just busy people and they just haven't gotten around to it. The same way that I haven't gotten around to scheduling my dentist appointment in far too long or getting
That reminds me.
I know, right? Wait a minute. Yes, we just forget. And a personal phone call can go so far. If I call you and I say, hey, Chris, how are you doing? It's so great to talk to you. How's your family been? And we start talking about you and your wife and your dogs and whatever. And then I say, hey, I noticed it's been almost a year since we did those photos last. I know my schedule's booking up. I want to make sure to save you a spot if you would like one for this year. Do you want to go ahead and book another session? 9 times out of 10, people are going to say yes, because they just simply need that little nudge, that little reminder to just go ahead and do it. And if you can get them on the phone, this is so appreciated. They're not feeling like you're being pushy. Is that a fear? A lot of people have that fear. They don't feel like you're being pushy. They thank me over and over. Oh my goodness, thank you. Yes, I've been meaning to do this. Let's do it, right? And it can be that easy. Cassie
it works.
Said, yeah. Cassie said, I always reach out to newborn clients around their 1 year. It's a great time to get them back as that first year has passed. They love it. Yes. She also said, I've done that twice in the last few weeks and not even a message back. Oh, I hate that, being left on red. I get that. And Cassie, this is not guaranteed, that you're going to reach every single person and they're always going to book. But I think it's always worth a try to pick up the phone and see if you can get a hold of them, especially around that 1 year mark, because messages, they go unread. Everyone's busy. Everyone has an email inbox that's overflowing. But if we can pick up the phone, we can often make that connection, and it's a lot easier. Okay.
I found that if you focus on the clients that are good clients, the people that you like, that you want to do business with again, chances are they like you too. There's a reason that you like them. So those are great ones to start with. I also do sometimes when I have like something that's going to be like a special event or a special date or doing something that's a little bit different, call those people and invite them first. Say, hey, before I open this up to everybody, do you want to do this? I think you'd be a great fit. I think we'd have a lot of fun. Yes. So they get some of that kind of exclusivity and the cool points with it. It's like, ooh, I like that.
Yes, everybody likes that, to be a little bit special and to have that exclusive offer. Absolutely. Okay, great. So reach out to your previous clients. Don't forget about them. Keep in touch with them. And then number seven. Okay. Support a local charity that you want to support by creating kind of like a partnership with them. This is another one of those amazing win-wins. It doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it helps others. It can help a charity that you believe in, and it can be a great nudge to get people off the fence. What I mean by that is you can set up a special partnership or promotion with them where, for example, through the month of July, any session that you book, 50% or 100% of your session fee goes towards this specific charity, right? And it's great if it's a local charity, because then they can help to spread the word about that to all of their connections. And a lot of times they have a really strong email list. They might have, a newsletter. They can put it on their website. They can make a pop-up. They can put it on their social media, and they can help you spread the word that you are doing something to support the charity. And this looks good for you as a PR move. It's always great to be finding ways that we can support our community and help other people. And it's a really good nudge to get people off the fence who are kind of like, yeah, we need to do it at some point. But hey, if my donation is gonna go to charity, I really feel good about that. I want to do that. And then it can be a great opportunity to then get your name out a lot further by using their network, right? That's self-explanatory. That makes sense. But it's something simple that a lot of people don't think about. And it can be a really powerful one.
I like to have the session fee directly donated to the organization and doing it. That way I don't have to report any of that income. The individuals now have a tax write-off when they're going, if it's like a 501c3 or something like that. It's like, ooh, this just got cleaner.
Yes,
and you look really good. Very altruistic.
Yes, strongly recommended that you do it that way. That's great. And that's transparency too, because people know exactly where that money went and there's no question. Lisa, tell me more. You said this has been huge for me. I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Okay, number 8.
8, yep.
Somebody asked, my dad actually asked me earlier, why are you doing 9 marketing tips? I said, I don't know. We just kind of started out this process brainstorming what we were going to talk about today, Chris, and I just said, 9 marketing tips. He said, that's such a random number. Why not 10? I suppose we could throw in a freebie, but number 8 is build and use a referral program. If you're not doing this, there is no reason not to be doing this. It doesn't cost you anything. It can be a really powerful way to get people to share the word about you. Now, referral program, I'd love to hear what you all do, because there's so many different ways to run a referral program. Chris, do you use one at all? Not everybody does.
I don't currently use a referral program, no.
Yeah, and that's all right. I don't use a program per se. A lot of people do have a program where it's like, if you refer a client to me, that earns you 1 point. And once you get to 5 points, that's 50% off your next session. And once you get to 10 points, you get a free session or something like that, right? They create some sort of point system, or like one of those punch cards at the coffee shop, like buy 10, get 1 free, something like that. Now, I don't have a program like that, but what I do is I make a strong effort to always reward referrals with something personal. And the story behind this is that my pediatric dentist once, after our first cleaning with them, sent me a card and said, thank you for bringing your children to our office. We want to, thank you. Every time that you send a referral our way, we'll send you a little special gift in the mail. And they sent that along with a $25 Starbucks gift card. Okay. That's not mind blowing, but you know what? Every time I pulled out that card to buy my coffee, I started thinking, who else can I refer to my dentist? Right. Because it was something I actually wanted, I actually used, and I appreciated. And it was kind of a special surprise. So I like that, rather than every time you send us a patient, you're going to get 10% off your next dental cleaning. That wouldn't have really excited me. But sending something personal that I know that person will love has kind of become a little pastime of mine. So I keep a close eye. I kind of stalk them a little bit online, and I'm looking at where do they go shopping? Where do they like to go out to eat? If I can find them online, or I just ask them questions during the session and try to get a feel for what would they appreciate as a referral reward. And so I try to send them something that's unique to them that they'll love, right? And then we've got a couple people here saying, Samantha said every client that you refer and books a session, you'll get a certain amount of money credited towards your account for your next session. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Clean and simple. Ashley said, I do product credit for clients that refer to me, but not an actual program. Yeah, but that's the same kind of thing. Okay, and there's lots of other ways that you can set that up, but utilizing some sort of reward for referrals can go a long way. Very good. We're going to hit number 9 here. How are we doing on time?
Ooh, last one. We have just a few more minutes, so we'll have to cruise through this one because we have some prizes and stuff to give away too.
Okay, good. You want to ask for what you want. This is my 9th tip. Ask for what you want. And what I mean by that is, if you want more testimonials, ask for them. Reach out to your clients and say, hey, would you be willing to write a few sentences about your experience with me? You've got to ask. If you want a partnership with a local business, go out and ask for it. If you want to put a display up in a local business, ask. And you're going to hear no sometimes, but there's nothing that they can say that's really going to damage you or take you down a notch, other than maybe your pride being wounded a little bit. But I'm friends with somebody who owns a small business. She has 9 employees, and I reached out to her last year and said, hey, do you want to buy a session for each of your 9 employees as a Christmas gift? And she said, that sounds great. I never thought about that. And she booked 9 sessions. And then I was able to upsell.
That's awesome.
So sometimes it's just that easy. Just ask for what you want. Be brave. Go for no. And if you get some no's along the way, that's okay. But it really does take that level of commitment to just say, I'm going to ask. The worst they can say is no. Right? So that's my 9th tip, and it kind of covers everything. Be bold, be bold, and advocate for yourself. No one else.
I think we could have an entire episode just on that last tip.
There really could be. That's true. All right. So those are my 9 tips. How'd we do?
Really, really well. Holy cow, so much information. If you do have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat now. We'll come back here at just the end and kind of review some of those. But Rachael, thank you so very much for sharing your information with us. Holy cow, that was a lot. So I know that you're probably not going to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. Can you tell us more about IPS Mastermind on there? I know that you're a coach and you do this and you help other photographers get better and overcome these challenges. So tell us about that.
Absolutely. It's my greatest passion in life is to help other photographers reach their goals through really, really strategic business training. And so what I do is I run IPS Mastermind, which is kind of a membership site. You can join our membership and you get access to this library of classes. Everything is broken down to be really practical, like step by step. And it's very concise because you don't have time to watch a 3-day long seminar. So everything is meant to be really easy to access, concise. You've got master classes. We do coaching calls just like this where you can interact. There's so many great facets of the membership. And I would love for you to check it out. We're actually going to give away a little code now, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I do have that. Hold on. Let me come up here. Bam. Right. Oh, I just clicked the button on it. Never mind.
Oh, that's all right.
Wrong button.
That's okay.
I went and launched it. There we go. Hey, you should see a little present thing that's on there with offer. If you click on that, it's got details on this. So if you are interested in learning more about it, joining it, let's see, I'm going to put up on here too, so we can come up here and
there you go. Yes. The program is called Revive. And so if you go to ipsmastermind.com, you'll see that information about the Revive membership, and you get 50% off with the little code there. So
super secret code. Don't share with anybody else.
That's right. Just for you. But I would love to have you join us and give it a try, even just for that month. See if it's a good fit for you. And if not, you can cancel anytime, but I think you'll love it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that information and the offer on that too. Like, it seriously is a game changer. If you haven't checked it out, you want to do that. Because if you thought that these 9 tips were impressive, wait till you kind of curate everything that you need to know about doing in-person sales or kind of taking charge of your business. It's impressive. I'm sure if anybody in the chat is part of it, be our cheerleader. Type in a little bit of information on there for Rachel so that you can share there.
We'd love to have you guys.
So do have an offer from American Color Imaging too. So they've got gallery wrap canvases that are 30% off. And so I'm going to put up, see if I can find my mouse again. There we go. Another thing from ACI, it's got the special code that's in it so that you can redeem that, write that code down, just kind of jot it down. And you can use that until August 2nd to get 30% off of gallery wrap canvases. So if you've got a large wall portrait order that's coming in, take advantage of that, save some money, definitely worth it. Okay, so we've got some prizes to give away. So up first, we've got an ACI Rocks mug. I think that's kind of fun. So let's go to our wheel of prizes. I love this thing.
That is so great.
And we'll see how good my eyesight is. Steph Henningsen.
Yay! Congrats.
So Steph, email me with your address and we'll get that shipped out to you. So up next, we've got an ACI Rocks t-shirt.
Yes. I want one of those.
Oh, right. And up for the t-shirt.
Drum roll, please.
I know, right? Dun, 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 dun,
You need music for this portion.
Amanda Young.
And, congrats. That's awesome.
Okay. And then we've got one more prize for the evening. And that one's a 16 by 20 gallery wrap canvas. I stole your image there and put it up there so they get an idea. It doesn't actually come with Rachel's original artwork on it.
That's all right.
So you have to put your own artwork on there. And the winner of that one is dun 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 dun.
This is the most fun I've had all week. Look at that.
Right. And Ashley Winslow.
Yay. Congratulations.
She's from Spokane too, or just north of us. Yep. Awesome. Okay, want to give you guys also the quick lineup of what's coming up. Our next episode, we have Bob Coates, who's going to be going over Zen and the art of camera care. So if you've ever wondered about cleaning your camera, maintaining it, calibrating, that sort of stuff, Bob is going to be sharing information on that. We've got Dennis Hammond, who's doing your journey as a landscape photographer. So he's going to be guiding us through landscape photography. And then we've got Ella Carlson on creativity, embracing your own personal rainbow. So we're looking at Photoshop stuff. All of these ones are live on the ACI website where you can register for these webinars. Also want to let you know about an upcoming workshop that I'm doing with West Coast School with Woody Walters on Photoshop. That's this Saturday. I'm going to shoot you out in this follow-up email on there. There's a link on there if you are interested in learning more about attending that class. And then also as kind of a little final note, if you do have ideas for future episodes, things that you want to know more about, a speaker that you think would be amazing, this is all about you guys. So please share your ideas there and we'll see if we can book them and get them on there for you, because this is all about you and what you guys want to learn. So the more that we can share there, the better. Okay, so let me get back to our fun layout that was on here. And we've got, just wrapping this up, our last couple of questions that we have.
Sure.
Let's see. We've got people talking about how awesome IPS Mastermind is. So Carolyn, here we go as the questions. What do you offer for auctions?
Yeah, so for auctions, I think we went over this earlier, but what I'm going to do is a complimentary session fee and then a small piece of wall art, usually something 11 by 14, maybe 12 by 12, something like that, because they almost always choose to upgrade that piece to a larger size and or add on a lot of extra wall art, albums, digitals, and things like that. So I'm going to do a session and a small piece of art usually. So
something that lets them buy more. Don't limit your sales. Don't give it all away.
That's right.
Let's see. Amber, I can make that happen, Rachel. Oh, okay. That's Amber from ACI saying that she can do that.
Oh, she's going to get me a t-shirt. All right. Excellent.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Thanks, Amber.
Awesome. Looks like you're getting a t-shirt. Cassie, Chris, by signing up to this class, will it keep me up to date with your stuff that's coming up? Yep, I'll email you about future episodes and information that's coming there. So yes, Cassie, thanks for coming and joining us. Let's see. Oh, Amber saying, yes, she'll get the shirt in the mail. I think that's all the questions that we have.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, thank you so very, very much, Rachel. That was a ton of fun. Very, very casual, but man, we got a lot of stuff to practice and learn and start implementing now. Next week, if you did not have your pen handy and writing down all of this, the replay is going to be live. I'll email you guys a link so that you can go watch it maybe a couple of times and take down notes and figure out how you can start implementing it.
Very good.
Thank you so very much again.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.